consumers need to be empowered to make the right choices and, whenever necessary, to be able to enforce their rights by using the appropriate instruments. And we also recognize that consumers on a daily basis can be harmed by illegal practices. We must learn from the US experience, which is based on a very different system. In Europe, we will not follow that road. We will follow our European legal cultures and take into account the experiences of European member states.
Collective redress, of course, is a process that's going on, a discussion that's going on, and it is, for many of us who are involved in it, very much of a learning experience. Learning by doing is involved. It's a discussion that is very lively in the European Parliament. It's also lively, frankly speaking, across political groups, across committees, across different national legal cultures where we come from. So I think this hearing is an excellent opportunity, really, to compare views on most of the important questions that we have and that we need to discuss now and in the months lying ahead of us, which are going to be exciting months, keeping in mind only the European election, for example, but also other developments.
We need public enforcement to help the consumers, and we need it at a community level as well, because we have increasingly cross-border transactions. The internal market depends on consumer confidence. If you're not confident that you can enforce your rights, you are afraid of doing shopping abroad.
It's very heartening that the Green Paper of DG Sanko has brought into the open the opt-in and opt-out debate. It is the elephant in the room. When we are talking about reform of collective redress, the opt-out, opt-in debate is central to that, and we cannot dance around it or avoid it. As I say, opt-out becomes opt-in. It has to. The people have to put their feet on that sticky paper at some point if the common issues have succeeded. But in this regard, the opt-out to start with gives the members of that class the opportunity to get redress for their grievances, and that surely, as a legal system, is what we should be seeking.
We need to be very confident that, given the risks, I think, inherent in changing the system, certainly in any kinds of binding measures to mandate member states to introduce collective judicial redress, that there is a real need for action, and that, you know, I think it's grounded, at least based on the Green Paper, on the basis that action is needed because otherwise, you know, we're going to have severe, I think, impediments to cross-border shopping. And the quote that's provided based on a Eurobarometer report is that 76% of consumers who have low confidence in cross-border purchasing feel that it is very or fairly important for their confidence to be able to bring a cross-border case to their national courts under their national law.
Justice is a core value of our societies, and victims of competition law infringements have been waiting too long for that justice. And by the way, they are still waiting. And as political figures at the European level, we and our counterparts in the member states are under a duty to find a way to ensure full compensation. And I would like to assure you, we are not proposing anything like the US system. Not at all. We are striking a European model that is fitting within our culture, that protects against excesses and unmeritorious litigation.
We should create a cross-border trade that is actually efficient. That has always been my main argument. And I do think that even we had different cultures within Europe, we have to come up with some sort of model that is respected and is fair. And it has the level playing field is the sort of key word in this issue. And I'm not a lawyer, I'm a politician, but I do think that the citizens, the consumers, and also business in Europe is demanding that on us.
This discussion concerning collective redress as a new matter, as a phenomenon, has a lot to do with the increased importance that we tend today to put on the courts in our European societies. Of course, the member states have a different background in this respect. I come from a Nordic country where the courts have always been supposed to restrain themselves from interfering too much in societal and political debate. The legal system, the legal structure is different in the United States, with a big difference between federal law and state law, and certain issues that may be, let's say, regulated by public authorities in Europe through various mechanisms within administrative law do simply not exist at the federal level in the United States, which also brings more cases automatically to the courts. Those differences to me seem to be of such a profound nature that I think that the risk of Europe winding up with some kind of American situation are, generally speaking, exaggerated.
The individual company never knows about what really happened in the market as such. They could only tell about their own experience. So what we saw, and I think this is one important aspect, some kind of collecting claims, and so this is my understanding of collective redress. We collect claims, and this allows us to really mirror what has happened in the market. And consumers will never take up the burden of running claims because it simply it doesn't count for, and they don't even know what's happening. I really believe that businesses will know what they can do, and I'm absolutely sure that what we can do and what the Commission should do, especially DG4, is competition as such. Competition as such is the best guarantee that in midterm run, consumers will benefit to the most.
We eagerly await the outcome of the consultation on the Green Paper and the Commission's next step, and you can quote me on this. We will continue to follow this development very closely. I would like, before I close, to take this opportunity to stress the will of my government and especially my Minister of Justice to address the issue of consumer rights. Our presidency will focus on matters of citizen perspective, on issues that matter to citizens in their everyday lives. We would like to get down to the basics of what the citizens need from the European Union. Let me also remark that within the framework of our upcoming Stockholm program, we wish to look closer at civil law from a citizen's perspective. This includes increasing the practical effects of existing legal acts, improving the quality of legislation in place, and increased cooperation within networks. Information, transparency, and education directed towards citizens is of the essence because we firmly believe that an informed citizen is an empowered consumer. This is why considerable efforts will be made in the area of consumer rights. And as I've been told, the presidency will focus great efforts to reach a political agreement considering the Directive of Consumer Rights.
We come away certainly with one message, that this is not the US. I think we've all got that clear now. And we know that we're looking at a European-type solution. And in looking for that European-type solution, I think one word comes over to me from this afternoon, and that's complementarity, in the sense that we're looking at various options, a mixture of public and private, yes, of opt-in and opt-out, and we've heard that, you know, the same can be part of one system, a mixture of national and European, and possibly even a sectoral approach in certain areas. Isn't it wonderful? It's Europe, it's diversity. And I guess that's what we have to learn to live with. It isn't easy to find straitjacket, simple, harmonized, direct solutions. We have to be more inventive, more flexible,